Hey everybody, so this week's question is a really tough one. How are Christians called to live a life of nonviolence in a violent world? The reality is most of us can immediately jump to pretty challenging situations where we're confronted with violence, and are we supposed to really respond nonviolently back? Someone's about to shoot you, hurt you, harm you. Do you really just respond nonviolently and let them do that? Well, part of the answer to that, unfortunately, is that Jesus actually is confronted exactly with that situation, and his response is nonviolent. So, as Jesus followers, we can't just dismiss that. But I think what he teaches us is that he wants to lead off the conflict before he gets there. We see power struggles all the time, grown-ups with kids, in work situations, in friend situations, where people are building towards what is clearly going to be a conflict. And if we're wise about it, we can head that off ahead of time. You can ask a different question, have a different conversation, sometimes remove yourself from a situation. Those are actually broad steps of nonviolence that we can do individually that honestly I think work on a broader scope as well. We can all jump to great leaders that are powerful from a violent standpoint, that are leading us toward violence. We see those in actual history, and we see those all the time in movies. Come on, the reality is Thanos only shows up every now and then, and really awful leaders within our world only show up every now and then as well. Were there things that we could have done long before that to help lead that off, to make sure that person never got into power, so that the ending result of violence didn't need to happen? And even when it does, well, what do? Well, we have seen it. We saw it with the civil rights marches here in America. We saw it with how India won their independence from a brutal regime of England in their own time. We've seen great change happen through nonviolence. For me, the thing is this: people of violence want to continue a cycle of violence. And when nonviolence enters the situation, it's the most opportunity we have to break a cycle that otherwise is just going to continue to spin and continue to spin. I don't know that I've really got a great answer to this question. But I do know this: I see cycles of violence continue and continue and continue, and they never seem to end. So, at least in the places where I can, in the conversations that I can, in the ways that I can, if I can instead try and be a person of peace and of nonviolence, and that might break the cycle in a way that hasn't been done before, well, I'm at least willing to give that a shot. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.